the year 1830, when all Europe was filled with the spirit of revolution. On a road leading from Poland, two young men were riding in a stagecoach. The one with the delicate features and pale complexion was Frederic Chopin. He gazed grimly out of the window, anxious over the fate of his native land. Frederic remembered his last evening at home when his friends had come to bid him farewell. Their parting gift was a silver goblet filled with Polish earth. "Keep this with you always," they'd said to him, "so that the spirit of your homeland may be with you wherever you go." The stagecoach stopped at an inn. "Any news from Poland?" Frederic asked the innkeeper. "Yes, the country has risen against the Tsar. Even now they're fighting in Warsaw." Frederic turned in great excitement to his friend. "At last, Poland will be free again." The stagecoach was about to leave when Frederick's friend announced that he was returning to Warsaw to fight. "I'll go with you, Titus." "No, Frederick. You have a more important task. To bring the name of Poland before the world so that people everywhere will see the justice of our cause." Frederick argued, but he knew that his friend was right. Sadly, he took leave of Titus. He continued on his journey alone, but his hopes for his country were soon shattered when he received the terrible news that Warsaw had been captured by the soldiers of the Tsar. Frederick's despair slowly turned to defiance. He heard in his mind the ringing measures of the revolutionary etude. music was like a clarion call to his countrymen not to lose hope. At last, Frederic reached Paris, which was then a world center of art and culture. He walked through the gay boulevards, fascinated by the city. Eager to make a name for himself, he presented his compositions to various publishers. The publishers refused to accept his works. They felt that his music was too different from what the public was accustomed to. Frederic, deeply discouraged, longed to be back in Poland. One day, he met a friend from Warsaw to whom he told his troubles. "Cheer up, Frederic. I'll take you to the home of the Baroness Rothschild, where you'll meet some of the most important people in Paris." "Would you really?" Frederic asked. "Of course. Go home and put on your best suit." Frederic felt nervous as they entered the crowded drawing room. Everyone stopped talking as he sat down at the piano. Deeply moved by his playing. He was truly a poet of the piano. Chopin's fame spread all over Paris. He became acquainted with the most distinguished artists in the city. The pianist Franz Liszt, the poet Heinrich Heine, the painter Delacroix. Everyone was eager to hear him play. One day, Liszt introduced him to the brilliant woman who wrote novels under the name of George Sand. She soon became one of his most devoted friends. Though his talent was now recognized, Chopin's health was failing. Wind and rain swept the city. He coughed all the time. George Sand was concerned for him. One day she said to him, "Frederic, I'm taking my children to the island of Majorca for the winter. Please come with us. The warm sunshine will make you well again." They journeyed to Spain and set sail across the blue Mediterranean for the romantic island of Majorca. They settled in the hills of Majorca. Chopin spent his days composing. One afternoon, while he was at the piano, George Sand and her children went for a walk in the mountains. It began to rain. In the music he was writing, Chopin echoed the steady dripping by repeating the same tone over and over in the left hand. As evening fell, a storm came up. He imagined his friend and her children trapped in the mountains. At last they returned. George Sand was startled at the sight of his thin, white face. "Frederic, you look as if you'd seen a ghost." "I dreamed that you'd drowned," he said. "Let's leave this place. I'll never get well here." They returned to Paris, where Chopin, despite his failing strength, went on with his work. One evening, George Sand was much amused to see her little dog running around and around chasing his tail. "Frederic, play something that will picture this," she said. He sat down and played the waltz of the little dog, also known as the Minute Waltz. Despite their affection for each other, Chopin and George Sand had many quarrels. At last, their friendship came to an end. Chopin grieved deeply, for he knew that he'd never see her again. Although he was very weak now, he undertook a concert tour of England and Scotland. He returned to Paris seriously ill. His friends came to visit him and played for him the beautiful melodies he'd written. By his bedside, he kept the silver goblet he'd received long ago. When I die, he whispered, scatter the good Polish earth over my grave, and I'll find rest in the soil of my native land. They did as he asked them. Today, Frederic Chopin is remembered as the poet of the piano. His music is loved and played in every land, in every home, the universal language of beauty that knows no barriers of nation or country.